Hello, Lunaz here, and welcome back to the Rimworld series. We'll get straight back into things, and with last time, we just landed at a new location, at which we will be restocking the ship with wood, although we already have quite a lot, but we need to max out our fuel supply in preparation to jump into space. I believe I'm in range of the bounty quest we picked up, but I will have a look just in case. And we are essentially right above it now, and I believe in range. I'm uncertain whether I can fly up yet though from where I am, and we'll have to test it later on once the cooldown on the grav engine is complete. So to begin the episode, the colonists will clear the fertile soil of trees and will then plant a variety of crops, although will mostly consist of cloth and rice, and maybe some herbal medicine, should the colonists have enough skill. Speaking of, there seems to be a decent amount of herbal medicine around the ship, a lot more than the previous map offered, so we will be taking that within the next day or so. The colonists finish clearing up the fertile land, and we will begin by putting down a massive growing zone for cloth. Cloth will be done first, as it takes the longest to grow, and we can get the other faster to complete jobs done while that is growing. Despite the size of the field, I have good expectations of my colonists to finish reasonably quickly due to the decently high growing skill across several of them. The wood will be hauled in while the colonists get some spare time. As the night approaches, the cloth field is finished off, and we receive a quest prompt. So we will be guarding someone. And I have no idea about how strong the raid will be. With rewards for plasteel and what looks to be a unique weapon. So one of the new things added were unique weapons, and this is the first one I've seen so far. So it has lightweight, the weapon is lighter, so it's faster to shoot. Much higher armor penetration. But it is ugly. It's a legendary weapon though, which means it's gonna be super accurate. I have 7 days to accept though, so we have plenty of time to reinforce the area. And if we need to, we can flee. We have 5.4 days on the Grav Core's cooldown, so the ship will be available to fly if I deem the fight to be impossible. But I will be looking to do this fight. I didn't accept quests too often in the last series, and due to this update being mostly about questing, I would like to accept a lot more quests than I normally do. Although with that, there does come the added risk that the series will end early due to me dying. But that's what this game is all about. Storytelling and dramatic endings. So with the cloth zone, we can now sow some rice. And after that, instead of planting hillroot, I will just end up harvesting whatever the map has to offer within a decent range of the ship. There does seem to be quite a lot, so that shouldn't be an issue. And I think I will do the same with berries. Hopefully there are no blights, because that could push our plans back by quite a bit. Night falls and a decent amount of the natural resources have been hauled back, increasing our berry stockpile to 75 with some already cooked meals, and the herbal medicine going from 10 to 15 units. Although there's still a lot more to haul and a lot more to assign to harvest. Shio is converted to our ideologian, and Tree no longer has to use her conversion ability to do that. Additional natural resources to the west are now harvested, and efforts to haul them back to the ship are now begun. Our food stockpile has been significantly boosted, and with the berries alone should give another 5 days without touching the current food supplies in stock. The next plan of action is preparing some defenses, and as I do not know from what direction the enemy will attack, defenses will be prepared around the entirety of the ship. We will be relying on heavily reinforced bunkers, as well as traps to halt the raiders. Who will be coming in around 4 days' time. Tree will also be assigned to construction, as I do not believe Lips will be able to complete all of the workload by herself within the 4 days we have. While the defenses we may be setting up might be overkill, they will definitely provide a lot of safety and security should the raid prove to be large as well. And as we have the resources, it's not a bad thing to do, because it also increases the colonist skill and allows for faster workload in the future. some roofs will be placed over the temporary defenses in the hopes that they'll provide additional cover. With 3 days remaining, the eastern and southern traps and defenses are almost complete, and the other directions will be set up as soon as possible. As the third bunker nears completion, some travelers who require medicine arrive, and battery research is completed. The next research I will go for will be machining, and the travelers will likely be ignored. With the defenses going up faster than I had thought, I will begin cutting down some additional trees to fund the large amount of traps I plan to build over the next day or so. As nighttime falls, a bulk good trader arrives, and I will have tree trade with them in the hopes that we can get a weapon or two from them. That doesn't seem to be the case though. And instead we will trade for a small amount of Nutrimine. A rat goes mad, but the trader caravan will likely deal with it for us. And they do. We have a flamethrower being completely overkill, but people don't want to get Scaria, do they? With the defenses being almost complete, save for the traps, we still have a remaining 2 days left. However, the rice field is ready for harvest almost, so it will be rather tight with how soon the raid is going to come. A mech hive signal occurs, and we are notified that this could be because of a mech hive, and we will begin to look into this as we find new GravTech technology, something we were looking to be doing anyway. The northern bunker is completed, and now traps will be assigned to all of the remaining bunkers. They will cost a significant amount of wood, however, the funding for them has already been completed. The Gargantuan, our ship, is now ready to launch again, and this will be saved depending on how big the raiders' forces are, potentially forcing us to leave earlier than I would have preferred to. With only some of our ship's needs being met so far, we really need to try and stay here as long as possible. Lips and Sam get together, and Kilo and Shio have a fight. We have two lovers who can actually be together now. This should hopefully increase mood quite a bit. Across two colonists who were fairly up and down. Oh no, it's Sam. Lips and Sam. Sorry. Sam's been fairly decent so far, but Lips has definitely had a few mental breaks. So should their relationship work out, we can deal with that. We just need to deal with the raid. That is the biggest issue. And it's only 18 hours away. We'll have Semra arrive now and lock up the ship for the time being to wait out the manhunters. A quest prompt for one of our ID Legends relics popped up, and we will temporarily ignore this because the colony is fairly busy. I did make a mistake with the quests though. The quest we've just accepted, the raiders could come anytime within the next 18 days. I just need to find it. Luckily, the porcupines have all been killed to the large number of traps we'd had around, so we're able to leave the ship fairly quickly. The only issue is now we have a lot less traps and have to rebuild them all. A quest arrives for a ancient complex, although that will also be ignored due to us needing all hands on deck for the upcoming raid. Semra being able to fight with us though is a massive advantage, but we will have to do something about her weapon if possible. We have Lips rescue Semra as she goes down. She has food poisoning and on top of that a bad back. While she is a good shooter, I have to be careful with how I deploy her, as if we lose her I'm sure the quest will be void. Her awful quality weapon will be left outside, as I do not have any intention of equipping her with such a bad weapon, as her safety is our utmost priority for the next 18 days. Speaking of, the traps are rearmed quickly, and additional resources will be gathered to keep them up and running. The extended time our ship will be here now will allow us to completely gather the cloth harvest though, and potentially get another lot of rice grown and harvested on top of that. It also allows us to make several ship upgrades, including a cleanliness upgrade to the kitchen. That will be one of the next things we do, as well as turning on the lights across the ship, which is something I'd mentioned earlier during the run. Semra is fairly unhappy, and to deal with that to some degree, we will be assigning her Lips's room for the time being. Now that the traps are pretty much completely constructed, we'll be chopping down several trees nearby the defenses to stop cover being in close proximity to the raiders attacking, as well as to allow us additional supplies for fuel and traps should we need more. With the nearby trees cut down, we assign the rice field to be resown, and Semra gets back on that immediately, being in a lot higher mood than they were yesterday, the new room having done quite a lot towards that. Lips's mood, however, has not really changed, being quite a big thing for us, as we need as many people working as possible. With the rice field resown, we will now work on flooring the kitchen dining room in steel plate tiles. This should increase cleanliness by quite a decent amount and stop food poisoning occurring as much. While that is being built, the steel vein to our immediate east is going to be mined out, as we've spent quite a lot on static defenses and flooring so far. With the ship's lighting now sorted, a upgrade will be put in place for the kitchen, the fueled stove being upgraded to an electric stove, as well as some shelves being put in to hopefully increase the speed at which food is produced. While it may look a little messy or cramped, it will help relieve the burden on our storeroom, as it is now full most of the time. And as we have quite a lot of resources I'd like to extract from this map tile, we need to clear up as much space as we can. That being said, some bookshelves will be put in the research room so we can move our books in there, as well as increase our research speed, as that is something that is starting to become an issue. Meanwhile, the steel vein is still being slowly but steadily mined out, and our steel count is increasing all the same. We have Tree take a break from the research bench so we can have her make a better quality short bow for Semra. The good quality being good enough, we assign it to her and have Tree go back to research. Some additional traps are placed around the vicinity of the ship, just in case we have to fall back or raiders manage to make it through our defenses. We have some additional ability to stop them. The main thing we have to hope for is a raid that is not all melee, otherwise we could be in trouble. The weapon offered, the custom bolt action rifle, is something the colony really needs right now. The bills for the simple meals are reinstated on the new cooker. And with that, most of the jobs that needed doing are now done. We're just waiting on the cloth and rice to grow, as well as the raid to occur. The only other thing we can do is mine additional steel and components, as strip mining doesn't seem to be something we can really do on this map. Not that it's provided much in the way of resources so far. An expansion on the ship is also unlikely as well, with only 51 grav panels remaining. And I will likely have to save those for a expansion of the grav core if we're able to get one. Speaking of, we receive an energy signature for a new grav core. It is powering a ancient terraformer, which I have no idea what it is. And we will check the location. It being quite some ways away. Although, honestly, it being in a direction I'm not too interested in heading. While it will be much more fuel intensive to head back this way, there are 2 grav core quests here. Which would be a lot more beneficial than just going all the way up there for one and having to come back. Due to research being a lot more important, and with a fair number of people idle, a second research bench will now be built. Although I've immediately spotted a better location for it and moved it into the electric room, where a battery will also be built. Due to how quiet things are now though, I will end today's episode here. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. The next episode is probably going to prove to be pretty intense by way of imagining it. The mechanoids will likely find us soon as well, so we may end up having to fight more than just raiders, depending on how long we need to stay for. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.